I've had plenty of people tell me that 2021 has gotten off to a rocky start. They've had their 4-week free trial and they want out. But I think I have something that can convince you to stick around. It's the new issue of the Rake. It's our February issue, it's our women's issue. Let's take a closer look. Imitation is a funny old thing. The sincerest form of flattery, they say. As it happens, I agree. Ray Vaughan Williams wrote that music's purpose was to imitate the spiritual, and what is so extraordinary about much of his music is that it's hard to know if, as John Fuller Maitland put it, one is listening to something very old or very new. This is intentional. His time spent analysing folk music and Elizabethan composers in order to create a sound that defined all things English and pastoral meant that it was always going to have a timelessness to it. But it was, nevertheless, mimicry of a kind. So it is with the Rake. Our credo is the modern voice of classic elegance. We are not here to be avant-garde. We are not out to invent something. We are preserving that fire I mentioned in the December issue. The fact that we often tell stories of people long gone is not an accident. They were purveyors of a way of living that is hard to emulate. But to get the best out of humanity, we feel we should try. The big question is, can we make a good go of it? There is plenty to learn from here. Gemma Arterton, the actress on this issue's cover, is a woman of great and undeterred integrity and talent. Her treatment in the media has often been condescending and objectifying. She is not alone in being subjected to this, and I hope fair hearings, like our terrific interview by Nick Scott, help redress things, if only a little. The features in this issue are rich, abundant and energising. We have a Nick Falk's double-header kicking off with a profile of Ira von Fürstenberg, the socialite, actress and designer. Nick has also written a fascinating piece on the Crespi family, notably Countess Consuelo Crespi, and their influence on post-war society in Europe and the US. Additionally, Ed Cripps takes on Grace Jones, a woman whose importance in our counterculture has been similarly immense. There is an exciting generation of up-and-coming tailors in Britain, and many of them are women. The journalist, creative strategist and Rake alumnus Alex Vetkovich interviewed 7 young female artisans to understand how they are reimagining what was, until recently, a male-dominated industry. So, what do we, the enlightened folk of 2021, do now? If our best days are indeed behind us, then the greatest attribute of history is that we can cherry-pick the good. So perhaps this is an exercise we can all take up. We find somebody in our lives who we feel sufficiently inspired by to copy them. Considering this is the women's issue, perhaps we can pick a woman in our lives. I should be so lucky to be surrounded by such brilliant and capable women. It is a fool's errand to not only take them for granted, but to not consider imitating them in the hope that I can become a more fundamental version of myself. Who will you imitate?